Location data has done a phenomenal job in terms of helping people understand movement patterns, right? And that's what location data is really used for. But I think what's really cool about the prospects of how we're collecting the data, which is through mobile platforms, allows us to actually bridge back into the digital and mobile world at large. And so being able to not only understand the path that someone's going down, but also the places that they're visiting, the things that they're buying, whether or not they're tuning into TV shows, are all things that we're actually executing today. So what's next is really the adoption of all these things where we have these amazing digital metrics, mobile metrics that can finally be applied in a ubiquitous way and a uniform way back into out of home. Something that was unmeasurable is now measurable. And the future of that is super exciting.
I think it's very exciting where arts and science and technology kind of combine, can really help our medium thrive. By combining the two, giving creative teams the opportunity to say, hey, if we combined a vehicular recognition camera to identify a vehicle could trigger XYZ creative, or looking at facial expressions and combining it with a digital bus shelter allows us to really stand out and most importantly provide a relevant, right place, right time message from a really beautiful creative perspective.
For many years, out of home has largely been measured, or the success metrics have been around delivery. How many impressions were actually delivered for my campaign? Did we deliver in full, et cetera? With location data, we can now take that a step further with the ability to identify who's been exposed to an out-of-home campaign and then measure real-world outcomes. With the ability to now use this location data in relation to out-of-home as well as perhaps other channels, we can now prove out the real-world impact that these screens have and hopefully inject more dollars into out-of-home as an industry overall.
I'm of the approach of the always-on mentality. I really think that we should be using mobile data 365 days a year in order to learn where these people are each and every day, each and every hour of the day. People change, their path change. We can kind of place them in buckets throughout the year. We need to change our targeting tactics in order to kind of target that right person at the right point in the day.
For using our mobile data to help improve our business, we're using it in many different ways. We're using it for out of home, we're using it in digital, and we're also using it in print. So there's a lot of ways to go about using it, but what's most important about it for us is really understanding our customer and driving our customer to our locations. So the better we understand our customer, the better communication we can do and better content we can deliver to them.
Consumers are getting way more comfortable with using their data and their information. I feel that helps companies and brands really understand the things that engage them, that talk to them, especially information they don't want to share to be blasted all over the internet, or negative things about them, about their personality being used to target them.
As customers, I think we have some ways to go in making people feel more comfortable that this data is not being used for nefarious purposes. As a creative, I think it's great. Like the more information that we can get as creatives, I think the better, more interesting work that we can make.
Location really is only part of the signal that impacts us. We feel like it fits very naturally into the progression. We actually are a GPS system, so we're accurate really to a few meters, engaging customers to locations and to brands. We want to understand the path that these drivers are taking. When I say the path, what I mean is, what behaviors are they showing along the way? What context is relevant for them? Do they favor a certain brand throughout a given day? So it's interesting being here at Ad Club New York today to talk about specific location. I really think it's only one piece that impacts the overall messaging that we're working, and we're able to provide customers working with Waze.
The two top benefits of out-of-home today, first would be our ability to drive and deliver ROI for our customers at a time when our customers are absolutely demanding it. The second one would be the ability to create impact. The consumer journey is changing, and people are spending more time out of their home and making decisions, purchase decisions, closer to the stores. Out-of-home is with them along the way. Other mediums are not, so I think our opportunity is to really capitalize on that today with the fragmented marketplace. So those are the two things I'm really excited about with the out-of-home today.
When we look at television, when we look at digital, we're seeing more and more sophisticated ways of trying to bypass the advertising that's supporting the content. Out of home, people are expecting to see the advertisement. They are seeing it. You know, when you buy it, you get it. And that's actually just something that we just don't take for granted anymore.
Out of home is a typical advertising channel. Users are expecting to see an ad on any of those digital billboards, and it works marvelously if you combine that into your overall media mix. I would say the second benefit is that you can now think of the cohesive message of your brand across these different channels. So your desktop, your mobile campaign can work very well with your out-of-home campaign.
I think one of the top benefits of out-of-home today is one that's been a core competency for years, and that's huge creative canvases, especially in today's day and age with a flight to mobile. You simply can't build a brand on a 6-inch screen. I think another benefit is the symbiotic nature between those big canvases, those very large public canvases, and very personalized mobile screens. I think the more synergistic a brand's campaign is utilizing both those devices, the more engaging it is for a consumer.
I think what we're seeing now is that without a home, we're able to occupy public space. We're able to use the technology now that that Google possessed when they know what our searches are, that Amazon Alexa overhears, and next thing we know, we go to sit down on Amazon.com and they start bringing us ads for something we discussed in front of Alexa, okay? So the exciting thing to me is harvesting and harnessing the power of everything that's happened in digital media and recognizing that we can take that power, couple that with large-scale digital, and bring that information to people without interrupting their day.
For those that are considering in the business, I would say this time in out-of-home is the most transformative and the most inspiring time, era that I can remember in my 20 years of being in the business. We're combining data and we're combining creativity, right? The art and the science, and we're coming together. The conversation is changing now. So we're talking about, instead of real estate or geography, we're talking about audience, and we're talking about location. And it's changing the way that people perceive the business, but it's also changing the way that we can help our brands connect with their consumers.
So a really good piece of advice, if I could give to someone young starting in their career, because I know I got this too, is I always felt like, well, in order to advance in my career, I've got to know everything. You know, I've got to know all the answers. And somebody told me, you don't ever have to know the answers. Those, you'll learn them and they'll come, and no one's ever going to know. I mean, think about the world today and the media and the technology. Everything is changing every day, so there's no way for you to know all the answers. But just absorb it, learn, you know, have career goals and know where you want to go, and you'll be able to succeed.
A few weeks ago, I had a reporter ask me if I could start my career over again, if I would choose to go into advertising or if I would have gone client side or to work at like a BuzzFeed or something. And I thought it was such a funny question. And I guess it's a really relevant question right now, but for me, I thought, of course I would choose advertising, because I actually think we're in like the most fun time to be in advertising. I think that right now there are so many medium to play with. There are so many different problems to solve. I think we have clients that are letting us into all of the different things that we can potentially solve with creativity for them, that there is nothing I'd rather be doing right now than doing this. And so if I was just speaking to someone who was young and who was getting started out in this industry, I would just tell them, you know, when you come into this, don't think of it as 30-second TV spots. Think of it as just really a world where you can use creativity to do whatever you want and create things that have never been done before.